Hello, I'm Larissa, and today I'm going to talk to you about the bubonic plague. Or is it the Black Death? Pestilence? Ye old great mortality? Oh, whatever, you know what I mean. The bubonic plague was a deadly disease caused by the bacterium Yersinia pestis, which is usually spread by fleas and rodents. It swept through Europe, Asia, and Africa in the 14th century, with the greatest number of cases in the Democratic Republic of the Congo, Madagascar, and Peru. The Black Death resulted in the deaths of around 75 to 200 million people in Eurasia and North Africa, hitting its peak in Europe from 1347 to 1351. The Black Death mortality rate affected every age group, from infants, teens, to people as old as 96 years. 50% of cases occur in people aged 12 to 45. About 25 to 60% of the entire European population was killed by the bubonic plague, giving it the title of the deadliest epidemic recorded in human history. What are the symptoms of the bubonic plague? You probably do not want to know. The bubonic plague attacks the lymphatic system, causing swelling in the lymph nodes. These swellings are called buboes. They are tender, painful, and one or more can develop. Quote, in men and women alike, certain swellings, either on the groin or under the armpits, waxed to the bigness of a common apple, others to the size of an egg, some more and some less, and these the vulgar named plague boils. The bacteria multiply in the lymph node closest to where the bacteria entered the human body. Blood and pus seep out of these swellings, which were followed by other unpleasant symptoms: fever, chills, vomiting, diarrhea, aches and pains, and then death. 30 to 100% of people with bubonic plague died if they did not get treated. Plague is transmitted by the bite of infected fleas, direct contact with infected tissues, and inhalation of infected respiratory droplets. One of the biggest concerns is that the Black Death was terrifyingly contagious. The mere touching of clothes can spread it from one person to another. The disease was also terrifyingly efficient. People who were perfectly healthy when they went to bed at night could be dead by morning. Pestilence had large-scale social and economic effects. A long-term effect was population decrease. Once populated villages and towns were left to rubble and ruins after the Black Death hit. Large working expanses of land were deserted to become wilderness, and crops were left to rot in the ground. People were abandoning their family and friends, fleeing cities, and shutting themselves off from the world. Funeral rites became cursory or stopped entirely, and work ceased being done. The bubonic plague had a significant impact on the relationship between the lords who owned much of the land in Europe and the peasants who worked for them. As more and more people died, it became harder to find people to plow fields, harvest crops, and produce their goods and services. Thankfully, current treatments reduce the chance of death from the bubonic plague to a mere 10%. If the patient is not treated with the appropriate antibiotics, the bacteria can spread to other parts of the body, such as the bloodstream or lungs. In the past, physicians relied on crude and unsophisticated techniques such as bloodletting and boil lancing, or superstitious practices such as bathing in rosewater or vinegar and burning aromatic herbs. However, today, getting antibiotics such as Cipro or doxycycline, just to name a few, can heal you in a week or two. Considering that the bubonic plague affects all ages, it is a good idea to look at prevention for this horrific disease. There's no vaccine for the plague, however. Taking steps to seal openings in your house and cleaning up leaves and waste in your yard are important, because this will ensure that no rodents will try to make a home there. Another tip to keep in mind is using bug repellent containing DEET when you go out into the wilderness, whether camping, hiking. The more protection from fleas, the better. From 2010 to 2015, there were 3,248 cases reported worldwide, including 584 deaths. The Black Death is still around today, however, it is a much smaller threat today as it was centuries ago. The disease pops up every year in multiple countries, including the United States, so who's to say that it won't reach us as well? An outbreak of the bubonic plague in China has led to worries that the Black Death could make a significant return. Experts say that the disease is not nearly as deadly as it was, thanks to modern antibiotics.